Good morning. I welcome you all for biology video class. In previous class, in previous video, we have completed that chapter 3, that is plant kingdom. So we have completed plant kingdom. In that plant kingdom, I talked about the algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, and gymnosperms. These all the things we have completed. In that we have seen different classes. So divisions and classes, I hope you all understood that plant kingdom. Now we are going to enter into the new chapter in the new unit. The unit is 2. Unit is what? 2. Structural organization in plants and animals. Structural organization in plants and animals, the unit name. In the unit 2, we have 3 chapters. In 3 chapters, one was omitted. It is chapter 6. So in this unit, we have chapter 5 and 7. Okay. First, we will start with chapter 5. It is morphology of flowering plants. Morphology of flowering plants. So this lesson, this chapter is very interesting, because we are going to learn about flower. Structure of flower, size of flower, and the shape of the flower. Because whenever we are buying the flower, just we are going to look up the outlooking. The external structure only we know. The external structure, what are the things are present, what are the types, what are the shape, what are the size, we don't know. Just we are buying and we are using them. But after this lesson, definitely you can analyze whatever the parts are there, different kinds of flower, different structure of flowers, that is you can know. So concentrate on video and take notes. Before entering into the class, I think flower, how it is important, because in the 10th standard and even in the 6th, you all studied about the reproduction of plants. In the reproduction of plants, we have 2 types, asexual and sexual. But in asexual, we don't have any variations in the future generation. But in the sexual reproduction, we have many variations in the future generation. So for the reproduction, for the sexual reproduction, flower is very important. So in this lesson, we are going to see about the flower. First thing, in the morphology of flowering plants, we are going to see only 2 topics, because remains the stem, the root, the leaf, the seed, the fruit, that all the things are omitted in the revised syllabus. We have only one thing, that is the inflorescence. In the inflorescence, we are going to see about the flower. Then another thing, we are going to see about description of some important families. These 2 topics we are going to see. Remains and all, it is omitted. So if we have time in the future, definitely we will teach about the seed, the stem, leaf, like that. So now we are going to see only 2 topics: the inflorescence. In the inflorescence, we are going to see about flower. Then different. Actually, some description of some description of some important families. So these two topics we are going to see in this lesson. First we will start with the inflorescence. Before entering into the inflorescence, we are going to see about morphology. So what is that morphology? In human physiology, when we talk about human physiology, I told you that what is meant by physiology, what is meant by morphology. Here I want to recall that morphology. Morphology that means studying about size and shape and structure of living organisms. Okay, size, shape and structure of living organisms. That is morphology. So the word morphology denotes the size, shape and structure of living organisms. But in this lesson we are going to see about size and shape, structure of flowering plants. That means flower. We are going to see. So first topic is what? The inflorescence. What is that inflorescence? Inflorescence is nothing but it is arrangement and distribution of flower over a plant. So it is what? The inflorescence. So inflorescence means what? Arrangement and distribution of flower over a plant. So how it is present? The flower, how it is present in a plant? That is called as inflorescence. Okay. Here, first one in the inflorescence is racemose. What? Racemose. Based on the distribution, based on the arrangement, the flower divided into the inflorescence divided into two types: racemose inflorescence and another one cymose inflorescence. So based on the arrangement and distribution, the inflorescence are divided into two types. One is racemose inflorescence and cymose inflorescence. First we will talk about the racemose. Racemose means what? Here the racemose main axis continues to grow. In the racemose, main axis continues to grow. Then the flower born laterally. The flower born laterally in acropetal succeed. Succession is what? Acropetal succession. So main axis continues to grow. Flower born laterally in acropetal succession. What is that? Acropetal succession. The older flower grow towards base, apex. So what happened? Racemose inflorescence. That means main axis continues to grow. Main axis. It is continuous to grow. The tip of the plant. It is main axis. It is continuous to grow. Flower borne laterally in acropetal succession. Flower borne laterally. Many flowers. So many flowers which born laterally, but main axis is grow. The laterally acropetal succession. What is that? Older flower towards base. So in the base we have older flower. In the apex we have young one. Young flower we have in the apex. This is apex. In the tip is called it as apex. So in the apex area we have what? New flower. That means young flower. In the base of the axis we have older flower. So it is called as acropetal succession. So acropetal succession means what? Older flower which is in the base, and in the apex we have young ones, or centripetal. So what is that centripetal? Which means old flower towards periphery, and young flower in the center. It is called as centripetal. So here what I am trying to say that the main axis is growing, but floral is coming in later. If older flowers towards the base and younger flower is at the apex, that means it is called as acropetal succession. If sometime old towards the periphery that means this side. Here fully this branches, that all the one is old. Young one is the center. It is called as centripetal. So any one is present. Acropetal succession or centripetal succession is present. Petals. I think in the 6th standard itself you were studying the petal. Petal is colored one. I think தமிழ்ல நம்ம இதழ்கள்னு சொல்லுவோம். பூவோட இதழ்கள் அப்படினு சொல்லுவோம். அதுதான் கலர்ஸ் நமக்கு பூக்கு கொடுக்கும். ஆரஞ்சு கலர், வயலட் கலர், இல்ல ஒயிட் கலர், Okay, so in the racemose inflorescence, the arrangement distribution of flower in the racemose types like this. One is acropetal and another one is the centripetal. So next we are going to see cymose. What is that cymose? The cymose. Here also the flower is arranged. The cymose is main axis. Main axis is terminate. Main axis terminate in a flower. The next one. Then the growth of other flowers one by one laterally branch. In the laterally branch, one by one it is coming. Then which also like main axis, which is also like main axis. The arrangements. So there we have seen the centripetal and another one is what? The acropetal succession. Two arrangements we have, but here we have one arrangement. The arrangement name is basipetal. So what is the basipetal? That means old in the apex. Old flower in the apex. Young one is basal. Young flower in basal. So in the cymose inflorescence, main axis terminate in a flower. You see, main axis is coming. It is terminated. With flower. The main axis terminated with flower. Then the growth of other flowers one by one laterally like main axis. This is the lateral branch. In the lateral branch we have flower. This side also we have flower. So what happened here? The main axis terminate with the flower. And next one here we have young one. That means young flower. It is what? Young flower. That young flower is in the basal. So young flower which is present here. Young flower. ink flower which is present in the base. This is old one, it is in the terminal. This is in the basal, it is ink flower. It is ink flower. So it is call it as base petal. This arrangement is called it as base petal. So main axis terminate with a flower, and the next flowers growth in the laterally like in the main axis, because here also it is terminate with the flower. This is also terminate with the flower. In the basal, the younger flowers which are arranged. So this kind of arrangement is called it as base petal. So this arrangement and distribution totally is called it as cymose. Cymose inflorescence. Here before we have completed one racemose inflorescence. So in the racemose inflorescence, the main axis continues to grow, but here it is terminated. So if it is terminated, the lateral branches which are arranged, that main axis also ending with the flower, terminated with the flower. But laterally the branches is coming, that is basal. Basal flowers is coming, that is single flowers. It is called as base petal. But in this racemose, we have acropetal as well, acropetal succession, and another one centripetal succession. So two things we have in that racemose arrangements. Okay, here we have one arrangements. This is about the inflorescence. Okay, do you understand that? Then we are going to see about the flower. It is part 1. The flower. Next our heading is the flower. Flower, how it came? It is modified from which? Actually, here the flower is modified shoot. Modified shoot. Shoot means, you know anything? In plants below the ground, if it is growing, that means that is called it as root. Above the ground, if it is growing, that means it is called it as shoot. So the modified shoot is called it as flower. Sir, modified shoot, that means you are saying how? That means the shoot apical meristem changes to floral. Okay, the shoot apical meristem changes to floral. You know, I think in a branch we have apical meristem, lateral meristem, intercalary meristem. That means in between the node, one branch and another one branch. Here we have one node, here we have node. In between that we can call it as internode. In one branch base we have node. So the node, in between the two nodes, it is called as internode. So internode meristem we have lateral meristem. Lateral meristem. Here we have apical meristem. In 9th standard, I think the tissue, when you are studying about the tissue, the plant we have studied about what? The apical meristem, intercalary meristem, then lateral meristem. So here you see the apical meristem is changed into a floral. The next, here the internode do not elongate and get condensed. You see here I said what? Internode. This is one branch. In branch base we have node. In between one node to another node is called as internode. Here what we said? Internode do not elongate. So afterwards in the apical meristem, the internode do not get elongated. It is condensed. சுருங்கிடுச்சு அப்படிங்க. சுருங்கினதுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் அது என்னவா மாறுச்சு அப்படின்னா ஒரு ஃப்ளாரா மாற ஆரம்பிச்சது அப்படிங்க. So the internode get condensed and apical meristem also joined together. So it is changed as a flower. So this is about the flower. And here the apex, it is floral appendages. Laterally instead of leaves. Laterally instead of leaves. Actually what happened when it is grow, the internode are coming. Generally I am talking here. If it is not condensed, what happened? It is grow. Apical meristem also grow. In lateral side, what it is coming? Leaves are coming. So the plants is growing. But what happened? Here that apical meristem and internode are condensed. So that is it is changed as a what? Flower. What they are saying? That instead of leaves also the flower is coming. So apical meristem and internode condensed, and instead of leaf the flowers are came. So like that they are saying about the flower. So now in your mind, what about the flower? Actually it is shoot apical meristem. Actually it is modified shoot. So flower அப்படினாவே இனிமேட் modified shoot அப்படினு தான் நமக்கு ஞாபகம். So modified shoot is flower. How? That means these stories we can, these stories are help to how it is modified shoot, how it came. That means these are all the things. So apical meristem, internode also condensed, அப்படி சுருங்கி இருக்கு. apical meristem அதுக்கு மேல grow ஆகல. leaves வந்து அது என்னவா மாறுது அப்படினு பாத்தீங்கன்னா apical meristem, internode condensed and leaves எல்லாமே சேர்ந்து என்னவா மாறிடுச்சு அப்படினா it is flower. So this is about the flower. Next we are going to see the structure of flower. Structure of flower. You know, I think in the 6th standard and the 7th standard or in some other classes we will study is what? It is petals. It is what? Petals. The next, actually this is what? It is swollen part. This area, swollen part. This part is known as thalamus or receptacles. Thalamus or receptacles. So what happened? The flowers arranged on the petals, and the next one, this is stamen. This is what? Pistil. So pistil, petals, stamen, and another one. Here we have sepals. So it is greenish in color. So the sepals, petals, pistil, stamen, these all the things, the four holes. Hole அப்படினா அந்த circle. First circle, second circle, third circle, fourth circle. ஒவ்வொரு சர்க்கிளையும் நம்ம என்ன சொல்லுவோம் அப்படின்னா hole அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். So here we have four hole. One is what? Sepals, petals, then stamen, pistil. Collection of sepals is known as corolla. Calyx. What? Calyx. Okay. Four hole I told. The first hole is calyx. It is what? Collection of sepals. The next one, corolla. Next one is corolla. In the corolla is collection of petals. It is also one hole. So calyx one hole and corolla is one hole. The next one, pistil. Pistil is gynosium. Pistil is what? Gynosium. It is female reproductive part. It is what? Female reproductive part. Then stamen. It is androcium. Androcium is male reproductive part. So here you see the flower is reproductive part of the plant. So in the flower we have many things, especially four holes are present. One is calyx, another one is corolla, and androcium and gynosium. Here calyx is denote about what? Sepals. Collection of sepals is known as calyx. Then corolla, collection of petals is known as corolla. Then male reproductive part is androcium. Then female reproductive part is gynosium. This is the structure of flower. Okay, so this is for your understanding. Here I do that. If you know this, if you keep it in your mind, that means this lesson really is very easy. So don't forget these things: calyx, corolla, androcium, gynosium. Okay, ma? Here the gynosium is male reproductive part, gynosium is female reproductive part. Here the androcium is male reproductive part. Okay. stamen what it is present, and in sepals different types we have, and in petals we have different types, and in pistil we have different types in structure. That all the things we will see. Okay, don't worry. So the swollen part is what? Thalamus. On the thalamus only we have that fourth hole. The swollen part, here we drew that swollen part is present. Here it is called as stalk. So on the stalk only thalamus are present. Thalamus are receptacles. This is called as stalk. So on the stalk only thalamus is present. So here the structure of flower. In the angiosperm, the reproductive part is flower. Reproductive part is flower. So that's why here sexual reproduction is happening. So in the flower, four kinds of hole are present. That four holes present arranged on what? Thalamus. Arranged on thalamus or receptacle. It is the thalamus is present end of the stalk. End of the stalk. So four holes. What is that? Calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynecium. In some plants, the calyx and the corolla are not distinct. The calyx and corolla is not well distinct. That means it is not clear. So it is called a perianth. It is called as what? Perianth. Very important word. In the flower, if calyx and the corolla is not well distinct, that means it is called as perianth. This perianth is present in the lily flower. Example is lily. Here the calyx and corolla is not distinct. Okay. The next, here we have bisexual flower and unisexual flower. Bisexual flower and unisexual flower. Bisexual, which means the male and female. Male reproductive part is what? Androecium. Female reproductive part is what? Gynecium. So the both part, reproductive part present in one flower, it is called as bisexual flower. If in animals, both male and female reproductive part is called it as, that means it is hermaphrodite. Example earthworm. Earthworm is the hermaphrodite. That means it possesses male reproductive part and female reproductive part. Here the bisexual flower is androecium and gynecium. Unisexual flower is what? Which present any one, which consists any one of the reproductive part, whether it is androecium or gynecium. So that is the based on the reproductive part. based on the reproductive part, flower has been divided into two. One is the bisexual flower or unisexual flower. Next we are going to see about symmetry, because in the animals we have seen that symmetry, bilateral symmetry, radial symmetry, asymmetry. So like the same thing here we are going to see actinomorphic, one is actinomorphic, it is radial, zygomorphic, morphic is bilateral and asymmetric. So here also we have three types. One is actinomorphic and zygomorphic and asymmetric. Actinomorphic, which means it is radial symmetry. Radial symmetry means, you know, in center of the axis, if you take one plane and if you cut it, it is divided into equal half. Or any plane, not only one plane, 2, 3, 4, any plane, if you give it into the axis, it is divide the part into equal halves. That is called as radial symmetry. That all the equals are same. Okay, but in zygomorphic, it is bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry means if you take only one plane and if you cut it, that means left side and right side divided into equal half. More than one plane here we cannot use, but here in the radial symmetry we can use many planes. All the planes which cut the flowers into equal halves, but here only the left and right, that is bilateral. Asymmetry, that means irregular shape. Irregular shape. Okay, that means you cannot cut it in the plane axis, in the plane. Okay, so actinomorphic, example, mustard. One is mustard, and second one is datura and chili. Another one, chili. So mustard, datura, chili is the example for radial symmetry. And zygomorphic, it is pea flower and gulmohar. These are all the example for zygomorphic. And the next one, bean and cassia also. And for the asymmetry, so for the zygomorphic, P. gulmer and B. cassia. For the asymmetry, it is Ghana. It is what? Ghana. So these are all the examples for actinomorphic, zygomorphic, asymmetry. Next one, based on the floral appendages, the mean petals. How many petals which consist? Based on that, it is divided into two. The flower is divided into three. One is trimerous, and next one pentamerous, and tetra after that penta. Tetramerous and pentamerous. The floral appendages is 3. Here the floral appendages is 4. Here the floral appendages is 5. That means petals. Floral appendages, which means petals. So petals, how many petals are present in a flower? So based on that, trimerous, tetramerous, pentamerous. Tri, which means 3, tetra, which means 4, penta, which means 5. So 3 petals, 4 petals, 5 petals are present. So based on that, it is divided into what? 3. And another one thing we have, general thing. So here sometimes this is what thalamus, this is what stalk, this is what sepals. So here reduced leaf are present. Here reduced leaf. Reduced leaf, small leaf, here it is present. In some flower, this is sepals, sepal, this is thalamus, thalamus, this area is stalk or pedicel, pedicel, stalk or pedicel. In the pedicel, in the base of the pedicel, in the base of the stalk, reduced leaves are present. If it is present, that flower is known as bracteate. It is what? Bracteate. Bracteate. So the reduced leaf which are present in the stalk, base of the stalk or base of the pedicel, which means it is bracteate. If that leaf is not present, it is not present, it is not present, it is called as E-bracteate. E-bracteate. E-bracteate, which means what? It is not present. Which one? The leaf at the base of the stalk, it is not present. If it is present, it is bracteate. Okay. I hope you all understood that what the fluorescence, inflorescence mean what, and next how that we have racemose and another one cymose. Racemose and another one is what? Cymose. And next thing we have seen about what the flower. How it came, the flower, how it came, we have seen. The next one, the structure of the flower. 4 holes are present: corolla, calyx, gynoecium, androecium, which are present. Then, based on the petals, it is called as trimerous, tetramerous, pentamerous. Based on the small leaf, reduced leaf, it is called as bracteate or E-bracteate. And another one, it is actinomorphic, zygomorphic, and asymmetry. It is based on the symmetry. So we have seen so many things. In next video, we will talk about the what? We will talk about the parts of flowers, different parts of the flowers. It is the structure of flower. Okay.